And you're just in time for this edition of KBC's Lunchtime News. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. My co-anchor is Anne Wangeshi. Today, this particular afternoon, we are focusing on the trip by the royal visit. We do anticipate them in the coastal region. Also, we're keeping tabs on President William Ruto, who was just in Lunga Lunga, Kwale County. We also have a brief from our various reporters. That is what we have for you this particular afternoon. But I do understand we do have live images for you from the coastal city. As I told you earlier, we're anticipating King Charles III as well as Queen Camilla are expected there in Mtongwe Naval Base. That is where they'll be visiting that particular area. Quickly, let me just give you a rundown of what it is in store there in the coastal city. They will be anticipated at the airport in Mombasa, where of course they'll be met by various dignitaries from the Ministry of Interior and other special dignitaries from that particular region as well. I do understand that we have our reporter Ann Buru on the ground. She will just inform us how the program is. Now, the Majesty's program will look like this. King Charles III and Queen Camilla, accompanied by the escort of honor, to depart the airport Mtongwe ferry site. And of course, the King Charles III and Queen Camilla, accompanied by the escort, will arrive at the Admiral's badge for Mtongwe Naval Base. That is where we do anticipate an escort to arrive that particular hour. In just the next few minutes or so, we're being told that is also he'll visit the Mtongwe ferry site in Mombasa Island. And of course, he'll head over to Nyali Beach. I do understand that our reporter Junei is there. We also have another contingent of reporters stationed in various parts of the coastal city, led by Troy, as well as we do have Kabasa. And finally, of course, we do expect the king in Kericho locally managed marine area, which you're just witnessing on your screen right now. It is the Mtongwe Naval Base. That is where King Charles, once he arrives at the airport, he'll be escorted to that particular naval base. We have a contingent of reporters stationed in that area, and in just a few minutes, we'll be taking you there live. You can see all the preparations are done. Given that the president is also in the coastal region, we also anticipate him to be there as well. Earlier, I told you the president was in Kwale. He'll be heading over to that particular area. Now, let's come back here to the studio and continue with other stories that are making headlines. We head over to Kiambu County. Members of the Kiambu County Assembly are for the second time threatening to impeach area Governor Kimani Wamatangi. The ward representatives are accusing the governor of poor leadership, dictatorship, and inability to oversee Kiambu County development. Here is that particular report with the ward representatives. If they make good on their threats, the impeachment motion goes through. Kimani Wamatangi will be the second governor to appear before the Senate in a span of 1 year. Even before the Senate starts hearing the impeachment motion of Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza, our Kiambu counterpart Kimani Wamatangi could find himself in the same predicament if the members of the Kiambu County Assembly act on their impeachment threats against him.
As the organ charged with oversight of county affairs, we shall not allow Kiambu County to go to the drain as we watch. The County Assembly will forthwith exercise its legal mandate to hold Governor Wamatangi to account and take such steps as necessary, including removing him from office by way of impeachment.
The Kiambu members of the County Assembly have accused Wamatangi of stifling the county's development progress through ineffective and inefficient leadership.
It is completely disgusting that the Governor Wamatangi continues to waste and embezzle county resources instead of providing basics to Kiambu residents during this critical time. It is clear that the Governor Wamatangi continues to treat the people.
Now, to take you back to the coastal city, we do understand President William Ruto has arrived. Let's listen in to the proceedings there. The Mtongwe Naval Base in Mombasa County. That is where we anticipate King Charles III to come. That is President William Ruto, who has just arrived at the Naval Base with the Defense Cabinet Secretary, that is Aden Duale, and a contingent of security chiefs. You can see also the military presence, not just from the Naval Base as well, but land and air as well. That is where we do anticipate King Charles III and Queen Camilla to be coming. Once they leave the airport in Mombasa, they'll be heading over. We can see The President and the First Lady are being taken to be showcased to the naval base in and around that particular base, given as they're waiting for King Charles III and Queen Camilla. As I told you, the itinerary for the King in that particular base will be visiting the Mtongwe Ferry site, also the Admiral's Barge in Mtongwe Naval Base. We do anticipate, as they're being escorted to that particular base in Mtongwe Naval Base, they will also see the Mtongwe Ferry site in Mombasa Island. And of course, this will be the culmination of their trip. And of course, also, they'll head over to Nyali Beach. That is where King Charles III will be escorted. And we also anticipate Her Majesty the Queen to depart Vipingo Ridge and retires. As you can see, those are live images from the Mtongwe Naval Base. The military are lining there, given that the President has already arrived. I think they're anticipating the arrival of King Charles III and Queen Camilla. Let me carry on with the program. Is that also King Charles will be accompanied to Nyali Beach. Also, they will be escorted to Kericho, locally managed marine area. And of course, King Charles III, accompanied by an escort of honor, will arrive in that particular region also to visit the Vipingo Ridge. And of course, this will be the culmination of their trip. This has been a 4-day trip in this particular region, and it will culminate and end on Friday. That is where they'll finalize on their trip, which has been, of course, lucrative, not just for the Kenyan nation, but to the United Kingdom as well. Also, we promised you that our reporters are stationed there. We have Ann Buru there. We also have Junei in Nyali Beach. We also do have Kabasa and Troy placed in strategic positions in the coastal city. Given that they had finalized their trips in the capital, they'll be heading over to Mombasa County. And of course, any moment from now, we do anticipate King Charles III and Queen Camilla. Right now, what we can tell you, dear viewers, if you're just joining us, President William Ruto has arrived. The President was in the coastal region for a 4-day visit, state visit there. And of course, earlier on, he bid farewell to the Iranian ambassador, that is Dr. Jafar Barmaki, at State House Mombasa. President commissioned the electricity mini-grid in Mkwiru village, Lunga Kwale County. The President also pitched tent at a Shimoni fish port in Lunga Kwale County, in the presence, of course, of Mombasa Governor Abdul Samad Sharif Nasir. Also, we do anticipate the President will carry on with the bilateral talks with the King once he arrives here in Mtongwe Naval Base in Mombasa County. We also continue with our royal visit. This will be now the second last day for King Charles III and Queen Camilla in that particular region. Let me just remind you quickly what they had done initially here in the capital. They visited State House Nairobi, where President William Ruto and the King, you can see those are live images. We can see President William Ruto These are some of the escorts that will be taking King Charles III and the President as well. They have just arrived. That means King Charles III and Queen Camilla are not far from arriving to this particular area, which you're just witnessing, dear viewer, is Mtongwe Naval Base in Mombasa County. What we can confirm to you right now is that President William Ruto and First Lady Rachel Ruto have arrived. You can see that those are some of the dignitaries that are being ushered into the naval base with a contingent of security officers, not just the men and women in blue in the Kenya Defence Forces, but we can see uniformed officers from the General Service Unit and police officers as well. That is where King Charles III and Queen Camilla will be making their visit. As you can see, the podium is ready for the VIP section. That is where President William Ruto will be hosting King Charles III and Queen Camilla as the second day of their trip in Mombasa County. Let's hand over to the programming and listen in. Those are live images, as you can see. We can see King Charles III and Queen Camilla arrival at the Mtongwe Naval Base, accompanied by President William Ruto there. And of course, just introductory from the military brigade as well. As I told you earlier, those are live images from Mtongwe Naval Base. We do anticipate the King and Queen to make various stops in that particular region. That is where they'll have, of course, a little bit of lunch, then address members of the Fourth Estate, and of course the Mtongwe Naval Base will be their first key visit in the coastal region. As I told you, they'll not be stopping there. They'll be heading over to various sites in the coastal city, because this will be the culmination of their 5-day visit to this great country. They just landed a few minutes ago at the airport in Mombasa, and this will be their first visit. They're being ushered in. King Charles III, accompanied by Queen Camilla and President William Ruto and Rachel Ruto. As you can see, the proceedings are now starting. Let's hand over to that particular programming. Let's listen in. Well, that was a short ceremony at the Mtongwe Naval Base in Mombasa County. King Charles III and Queen Camilla arrived at that particular naval base at exactly 1:14 p.m. And of course, he inspected the guard of honor. Right now, they're being ushered to the VIP section, and that is where they'll be hosted before the king vacates that particular area to head over to Nyali Beach. And we do anticipate the Queen also from this particular juncture to retire at the Vipingo. But for King Charles III, he will not retire. He'll be heading over to a marine level base of the program that focuses on empowering coastal communities to manage their own marine resources. That is where the king will meet the non-governmental organizations representatives manning that particular area, of course guarded by the military, to see how they're focusing on the national fisheries policies and legislation. But right now, they have been ushered into the VIP section. President William Ruto in attendance. You do know that the president will be in the coastal region for the next 3 days or so. He flew in to Mombasa County yesterday, and of course he'll be launching a lot of the projects that the government are spearheading in that particular area of the coastal city. Right now, there'll be a short ceremony there. He just inspected the guard of honor. I want to hand you over back to that particular proceedings as they kick off at the Mtongwe Naval Base in Mombasa County.
is aimed at building capacity of the Kenya Navy Marine Commando. The partnership involves 3 countries: Kenya, United Kingdom, United States of America, but more precisely, the Kenya Navy, the UK Royal Marines, and the US Marine Corps. John.
Good afternoon, Your Majesties, Your Excellencies. My name is Major John McGill with the United States Marine Corps. Our role in this partnership is first to provide some of the follow-on training that these Marines, which you're about to see, will have after their basic course. That will provide specialized training for individual tasks. Furthermore, we'll be providing some of the infrastructure which will support that training, such as an urban training facility, a marksmanship range, as well as an assault course. And lastly, we'll be providing some of the kit, that is their helmets, body armor, and some of the specialized swim and dive equipment that they will need in order to be prepared to deploy to defend their nation and the continent.
Your Majesties, Your Excellency, I'm Captain Sam Powell from 40 Commando Royal Marines, and I'm the officer commanding the 9-person Royal Marine training team working from here at Mashujaa Naval Base. We've been tasked with working in partnership with the Kenyan Marine Commandos to deliver the basic Kenyan Marine course alongside specialised continuation training. To your front, you see some of the students from the basic Kenyan Marine course who are in week 8 of their 12-week course, run very similarly to the All-Arms Commando course in Livingston. This week, they're conducting amphibious landings and section battle drills, and they will now demonstrate a covert amphibious landing. You now see the Royal Marine and Kenyan Marine instructors moving across to the section commanders and troop commanders to provide instruction and direction. The Kenyan Marine instructors were on the previous basic Kenyan Marine course run from March to June of this year, and they have returned to work alongside the Royal Marine training team and also to attend specialist continuation courses in reconnaissance operations, close quarter battle and orders delivery. In a raid, the troops would now patrol off the beach anywhere up to 20 kilometres to their target. However, in this demonstration, they've been compromised by an enemy position located under the shelter to your front. They will now display their section battle drills. Now they have fought through the position, they'll move into their reorg, while they'll conduct a head count of their Marines and then await future taskings from their higher headquarters. The Royal Marines instructors you saw as part of that demonstration are all from Charlie Company 40 Commando based in Taunton in the United Kingdom. We've been deployed in Kenya now for 3 months and will return to the UK shortly before Christmas. Prior to deploying to Kenya, we completed a jungle training package in Brunei, where the skills we've learnt there we've shared with our Kenyan counterparts to improve their capabilities also. The support we've had from the Kenyan Navy and the Kenyan Marines at Mashujaa Naval Base has been outstanding, and I look forward to in future working with them on operations. Your Majesties, Your Excellency, that concludes the amphibious demonstration. May I now invite you to meet some of the service members' families escorted by your hosts.
Hawajua wameniwekea mgongo sasa sijui. Sawa.
Your Majesty, it's now time to meet the Kenya Navy families.
Your Majesty, sir, I'm pleased to introduce to you some of our families that are here with us today. Welcome, sir.
Would you like to introduce some of the ladies? Hello. Very nice to see you. Would you like to introduce so your husband's going to take you part of this. Enjoy. Very nice. So how long is your husband? Is he enjoying it? So you've both got husbands? Yeah. They're 16 years. So they're enjoying it. And yours? That's very nice. Hello. Oh, I see.
Umeelewa sasa tulikuwa tunaongea sabili.
Your Majesty, it's now time to meet our Marine Commandos.
The ceremony is coming to an end. That was a brief ceremony at the Mtongwe Naval Base. What you're just witnessing on your screens is Queen Camilla talking to the Marine Commandos from both nations, which is the United Kingdom and Kenya as well. Earlier on, we saw a little bit of battle drills demonstrations from those commandos. Of course, they protect the integrity of our waters in and around our borders. And they also met with the families of the commandos and some of the men and women who defend our waters every day, both from the United Kingdom and Kenya as well. This is the Mtongwe Naval Base. They arrived at 1:14 p.m. exactly, ushered in to that particular venue where King Charles III, of course, inspected the guard first of all, and then both national anthems of the United Kingdom and Kenya were played, as is the custom since they arrived in the country on the 31st of last month. After inspecting the guard, of course, they were ushered into the VIP area where the glitz and glamour of the military parade were at display. After that, the King Charles III and Queen Camilla, as well as President William Ruto and the First Lady, had to witness first-hand battle drills that have been orchestrated by the commandos, Marine Commandos of Kenya and the United Kingdom. which lasted for about few minutes. They were anticipating, or rather the drill entailed where enemies were approaching the main dais where the president and the king were seated and neutralize that particular threat. This is what the men and women of our naval bases do on a daily basis in protecting the integral parts of our borders when it comes to the water. And of course, from here, we do anticipate King Charles III and Queen Camilla. They'll be vacating, and of course, they'll separate. Queen Camilla is expected at Vibingo Reach, where she will retire there. But King Charles III, on his itinerary, he will still visit the Kericho, locally managed marine area. Earlier I told you, this is the first program that focuses on empowering coastal communities to manage their own marine resources once they vacate the Mtongwe Naval Base. And of course, if you're just wondering what Kericho means, it is a locally managed marine area, is an area of near-shore waters, and it is associated to the coastal and marine resources. Now, you also might wonder as to why King Charles III and Queen Camilla are visiting the coastal region. They are retracing the footsteps of the late Queen Elizabeth II and their family, given that the late Queen normally loved to go to the coastal region. Of course, in Mombasa City, played host to the late Queen Elizabeth II in 1963, before Kenya got its independence, where Queen Elizabeth died in September 2022. And of course, we do anticipate the monarch. This is the second last day. Tomorrow will be the end of their visit, their first visit to any nation once he was coronated as the King of England. Right now, they're just meeting a host of commandos from the Mtongwe Naval Base. They have met the families, and of course they're making small talks there with the brigadiers. That is live images from Mtongwe Naval Base. As I told you earlier, they arrived there at 1:14 p.m. exactly, with a flurry of the men and women in the naval base. And King Charles III, as is the custom, inspected the guard. After that, the national anthem for both countries were allowed. This is the Mtongwe Naval Base. We do have our reporter Ann Buru there. We will also be following King Charles III, as he goes to Nyali Beach, where we do anticipate our reporter Junae is there. She'll also give us a brief from that particular region. We also do have Edwin Kabasa as well as Ben Troy in the coastal city, positioned in strategic positions to just bring us up to speed with the Royal Diary. As it's coming to a close today, it is the second day. Tomorrow will be the last. Of course, in the accompaniment of Deputy President William Ruto, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, apologies for that, and the Defense Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale. From here, he'll be heading over to the Kericho locally managed marine area. You do know that the King is a staunch supporter of green economy as well, which we'll also be discussing if we get the opportunity, and the greenery at large, given that we're just back off the ACS 2023 that was hosted here in the capital with the Nairobi Convention or the Charter in mind. They're leaving the premises of Mtongwe Naval Base in the accompaniment of various dignitaries, both from the United Kingdom and Kenya. This is the Mtongwe Naval Base. If just joining us, our dear viewers, it was a brief ceremony that was held. No speeches. They heard from the families, the commandos, what they are doing, the military partnership from Kenya and the United Kingdom, the trainings that our naval men and women are receiving from the United Kingdom, not just in the naval space, but also in land and air. You do know how the ties between Kenya and the United Kingdom is etched in history. We work together on a number of fronts, not just economically, but also military. You do know we have one of the largest bases of the United Kingdom here. Let's listen in. That is it for that particular short ceremony that was held at the Mtongwe Naval Base. President William Ruto, of course, escorting King Charles III and Queen Camilla. As I told you, Queen Camilla will retire at the Vipingo Range. And of course, later on, she'll be joined by King Charles. But first of all, King Charles will be heading over to Nyali Beach, where we do anticipate he'll be visiting the Kruitu locally managed marine area. Right now, they're being ushered in to the speedboats that they came in. Of course, the King will be heading over to Nyali Beach, having an tete-a-tete with President William Ruto as they do so. Also, Rachel Ruto, the First Lady, as well as Queen Camilla there. They'll be heading over. You can also see Prime Cabinet Secretary and the Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs, Musalia Mudavadi, who has been with the Royals since they jetted into the country. We also do have the Defense Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale escorting them there. As I told you, once they leave this particular area, Queen Camilla will be heading over to Vipingo Range, and she'll be joined later by King Charles III, who is expected in Nyali Beach to visit the Kruitu locally managed marine area. It is the coastal communities that manage own resources in that particular area. And of course, they are bidding their farewells there. He's heading over there right now. We do have our reporter Janae on standby. Once we get those live images from Nyali Beach, we'll showcase it to you as is the custom. We do have our 360 degrees coverage of this particular royal visit, given that it is coming to an end tomorrow. In that particular Kruitu locally managed marine area, it is the national fisheries policies and legislation and has been replicated in 19 coastal communities and NGOs along hundreds of kilometers of the coastal line. This has been the norm for King Charles III. He has been visiting various smart farms, especially in Mama Lucy. Now he'll be visiting that particular area. You do know our coral reefs are in danger, and these local communities are protecting it not just for tourists, but for the economy as well as the environment as well, protecting our water bodies, which is under threat from wastage, especially human wastage. Earlier on, if you just missed that particular military parade to the inspecting of the guard, also a flurry from our naval men and women, both from the United Kingdom and Kenya. Of course, they did military drills up and close, anticipating if an enemy attacked the main dais where the president and the king were, how they will be neutralized before they even reach that particular area. And of course, this also brought out the partnership between Kenya and the United Kingdom when it comes to military intelligence and training, which has been going on, as I heard from the commander earlier on, for the last 3 months or so. And of course, they're currently leaving. They're heading over to Nyali Beach. And of course, we do have our reporters there stationed. When we get those live images, we'll showcase it to you. That is the boat carrying King Charles III and Queen Camilla heading over to... The Queen Camilla will be heading over to Vipingo Range. And of course, he will be heading over to Nyali Beach. I want to bring you back to this particular studio. We continue with our broadcast, but that is the official boat that is taking them there. Queen Camilla will retire and later she'll be joined by King Charles III. Now let's head over to Kiambu County, where members of the Kiambu County Assembly are for the second time threatening to impeach area Governor Kimani Wamatangi. The ward representatives are accusing the governor of poor leadership, dictatorship and inability to oversee Kiambu County development. Now, the ward representatives have been arguing for the last few months if they make good on their threats and the impeachment motion goes through. Kimani Wamatangi will be the second governor to appear before the Senate in a span of a year. Even before the Senate starts hearing the impeachment motion of Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza, our Kiambu counterpart Kimani Wamatangi could find himself in the same predicament if the members of the Kiambu County Assembly act on their impeachment threats against him.
As the organ charged with oversight of county affairs, we shall not allow Kiambu County to go to the drain as we watch. The County Assembly will forthwith exercise its legal mandate to hold Governor Wamatangi to account and take such steps as necessary, including removing him from office by way of impeachment.
The Kiambu members of the County Assembly have accused Wamatangi of stifling the county's development progress through ineffective and inefficient leadership.
It is completely disgusting that the governor of Wamatangi continues to waste and embezzle county resources instead of providing basics to Kiambu residents during this critical time. It is clear that the governor of Wamatangi continues to treat the people and other Kiambu leaders with extreme contempt and arrogance.
They say this has affected development of various sectors of the economy in Kiambu County.
We are saddened by the state of our health facilities, which by the hour move from bad to worse. The Constitution provides for citizens' right to life and highest attainable standards of health, which we confirm that the current facilities we have are way short of upholding.
The MCAs have also alleged massive embezzlement of public funds by county officials through the signing of imprest by junior officers. The members of the County Assembly say they will table the impeachment motion against Wamatangi in the coming days.
Within the next 21 days, we are going to proceed and file a notice of impeachment, a motion of impeachment to the County Assembly of Kiambu. Yes, we do. We do have enough numbers, and we are all tired. There is no way governor has continued to make our roads using soil. Instead of doing maram roads, he's pouring soil.
And now, in relation to the counties, Kenya Human Rights Commission have released 2 reports shedding light on county spending and the state of independent institutions in the country. In the first report, the commission says several counties have failed to adhere to the requirement to spend 30% of their budget towards development, as mandated by the Public Finance Management Act 2012. Additionally, it is noted that even among counties that did not meet the threshold, half of them allocated more than 70% of the budget to the recurrent expenditure, contradicting the 70-30 fiscal guideline. Meanwhile, the second report highlights challenges facing independent institutions in Kenya, emphasizing their lack of autonomy. The report proposes a raft of changes to improve operations in the independent institutions, including reviewing legislation, shielding commissioners from political interference, and securing adequate funding for effective functioning.
Of allocating less than 30%, you can as well imagine what would happen to the spending, because they are starting from a wrong footing already, and that always impacts on service delivery, and service delivery is part of the reason as to why devolution came. We continue doing the activism and calling these NDAs and government bodies to question as a way of ensuring that we do our part as the right holders.
Free the appointment process of chairperson from political interferences. The process should be a rigorous, impartial, and non-partisan. One of it is that what they request or what they budget versus what is allocated to them is in great variance, and that variance continues to grow over time.
53 minutes past the hour. Don't go too far. We are taking a short commercial break. On the other side of the break, we'll be having a conversation on sustainable development. Already my guest, Harry Henry, a sustainable development consultant, is here with me in studio. We'll be discussing the green economy and how it will create green jobs in this particular nation. You can talk to us on our social media platforms at Abdiaziz Hashim at KBC Channel 1. Don't go too far.
Umekuja mapema.
Nakwambia siku hizi barabara ni nywe.
Kenya Roads Board is committed to ensure an efficient road network for a prosperous nation. Your fuel levy at work.
Wiki hii kwenye mkulima tulizuru Juja Farm na kukuza Napier grass aina ya Super Paction 1. Uzuri wake ni
yenyewe ni cross, so it's a superior grass. Hii nyasi haina zile zinaitwa prickly hairs, zile nywele za napier grass ambao zinadunga. Hiyo inasaidia pia mifugo kuweza kufurahia wanapokula.
Usikose kujiunga nasi Jumapili saa 9:30 hapa KBC Channel 1 kwa mseto kamili wa
katika hii investigation. Sasa ile wewe limaliza, wewe lipata mimi ni nani ya marehemu?
Wewe ni ndugu yake.
Na wewe lipata hii msichana Lucy ni nani yake?
Ni mtoto yake, hata kama sio biological, yeye ameadapt na akachukua hiyo majukumu ya mzazi kwake.
Yes, I think that is correct because automatically wewe find out ya kwamba yeye si part of the family.
Kwa hivyo wewe unajua huyu si mtoto wa ndugu yako?
As far as I am concerned, huyu si mtoto ya.
Una uhakika gani? Na mbona walikuwa wenye mali waliwacha urithi yeye ndiye achukue? Mbona hawakukuandikia wewe kama wewe ndio ulikuwa unahusika?
This was a mistake. And after this case I'm going to challenge that will in a court.
Objection in your honor. I'm so sorry.
Sasa huyu naye ni nani?
I'm very late.
Wewe ni nani?
I'm a lawyer.
Lawyer wa nani?
Professional mheshimiwa.
Lawyer wa nani?
Wa makofia mheshimiwa. So, can we go to Camp 63?
Who are you representing? Wewe.
What's in Your Kitchen, a show that celebrates Kenyan and African dishes. Rusha. Wait. At Pilelani Annex Naivasha, she shared a bit of her life background story and her cooking skill.
Yes, because I've seen some fire jump there.
That is called flambeing. Flambeing.
So tukiona moto tujue ni flambeing. Chele yetu iko sawa? Iko sawa? Tumalize.
Sasa ni kwenda tukule. Lakini hauendi.
Mimi siendi.
Hauendi.
Hiyo tutaongea kwa meza kwanza.
Sawa.
Salivate this delicious meal on your screen while taking notes for the recipe. Every Sunday, only on KBC.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, the Postal Corporation of Kenya Posta employees have downed their tools demanding payment of their 6 months' salary arrears. Announcing the start of the strike, Communication Workers Union Co. Secretary General Benson Okwaro said they have been forced to go on a strike following the expiry of a 21-day notice. Okwaro says the strike will go on until their issues are addressed.
Because our members have suffered for so long, for over 5 months, the members have resolved that there will be no work. There will be no work until the management and by extension the government of this country decides on the fate of the salary for the PNT, the Postal Corporation workers. So let it be on the record that we have tried our best as a union to help so that we can get the corporation to come back on its feet, but it has been difficult because the management, the board, and the government does not care about the management, about the employees of this organization.
And on the education front, the Ministry of Education from Hubei province in China is calling for the establishment of university-level exchange partnership between China and Kenya, noting it will enhance the capacity of education to serve economic development. Speaking at the University of Nairobi during an international education exhibition, Professor Zhang Shibing noted that the cooperation will promote educational and cultural exchanges between the two countries, which will elevate bilateral cooperations between the two nations.
At the University of Nairobi, Hubei Higher Education Exhibition Kenya chapter is underway. The exhibition, organized by the Department of Education from Hubei province in China, attracted Kenyan students to explore higher education options and scholarships.
Malengo yangu nafaa kuhitimu nipate ufadhili ili niweze kwenda katika nchi za nje niweze kufanikisha masomo yangu. Apart from study, unaweza pata kazi kupitia kwa connection za kupatana na watu wengine wapya.
In the exhibition, University of Nairobi Deputy Vice Chancellor Professor Julius Ogengo says the Education Corporation will promote global education quality.
The spirit of cooperation and friendship signifies a significant milestone in our efforts to foster global academic partnerships and promote international education and create a brighter future through the power of education.
In his speech, Professor Zhang Xingping emphasized the importance of educational exchange programs in promoting bilateral relations and boosting international education.
This higher education exhibition will promote educational and cultural exchanges, which will undoubtedly elevate bilateral cooperation to a new level.
14 Chinese universities were represented to guide Kenyan students on the courses and sponsorship they can apply. Pauline Nasimiu for Lunchtime News.
Elsewhere, residents and traders of Kyola Junction are living in fear of contracting disease from broken sewage that has gone unresolved for a long time. The sewage has become a health hazard for locals in especially congested areas of Kyola.
This is the situation that is in this part of Kyola Junction in Jiru Ward. Sewage water is flowing everywhere, freely posing a health hazard to residents here.
I wonder even Mandawisi wanatuletea atisa cholera. Now cholera, and we have cholera in front of our doors. For me, I'm addressing our governor. Please. And MCA, whoever you are called, because even I don't know where you are. And MP, please, can you come to our rescue?
According to residents and business persons, the sewage issue has persisted for over 5 years after a septic tank burst in the area.
Now, since a burst, no one has turned their ears to us. We have an MCA, we have an area MP, we have our very honorable governor, Mr. Sakaja, but everybody who's been passing here, they are seeing what we are going through, but they've not come to our rescue.
Tunaumia sana, sisi ni wabebaji mzigo. Sasa hapa wakati kunaharibika, vijana hata mzigo hatuwezi beba. Mmoja wetu alivunjika mguu hapa kwa hii siwa line hapa. Akibeba mzigo akavunjika. Sasa wote tunaogopa.
The situation has become a challenge for business people, and they are afraid if the situation is not addressed, it will lead to an outbreak of disease. They are calling the relevant authority to act fast and remedy the situation. For Lunchtime News, I am Akida Kasim.
The Uwezo Fund Board have been urged to expand access to finance, enhance support and training entrepreneurs. Cooperative and MSMEs Cabinet Secretary Simon Chelugui urged the Uwezo Fund to align its program to the government's priority areas. Chelugui made the remarks during the inauguration of the new Uwezo Fund Board.
Since its inception, the fund has made significant strides dispersing funds to benefit over 1 million individuals, providing training to thousands of groups on entrepreneurship skills and supporting access to markets and linkages with a total of 7.495 billion 404,499, which has been dispersed. You have been appointed under the provisions of Public Finance Management, Uwezo Fund Regulations 2014. Your mandate is grounded in the principles of bottom-up economic transformation agenda, where the objectives and purposes of the fund are established to enhance financial inclusion and promotion of MSMEs for the vulnerable. This will be achieved by providing access to finance, promoting capacity building and training, supporting innovation and entrepreneurship, promoting local content and products.
And in other news, Little app taxi drivers will accept card-based payments using an Android smartphone, offering enhanced security and efficiency for both customers and drivers. This is after Little app, Absa Bank, Kenya and Visa unveiled a near-field communication NFC payment feature which gears towards revolutionizing convenience and efficiency within the ride-hailing industry. Now, the NFC payment feature simplifies the transaction process for cardholders, ensuring a swift and a hassle-free experience.
Faster, better. Then we look at Little and what they're doing by transforming lives of drivers. That convergence of purpose plus technology is what is going to drive us forward. And that is why we're particularly happy as Visa to be part of this launch today.
It's not very secured way of paying. But I think it's a myth because the card transactions are going very, very high. We have seen that tap to pay is a common way of using card transactions across the globe. So this is the journey we are actually now we are leading together with our partners.
Things that we're doing as a bank is just to make sure that we can make all the things that we're doing as a bank is just to make sure that we can make opportunities, products and services that we offer easier, faster, better.
Now you shall take up this invitation. The National Treasury is inviting you to present your views and identify projects you would like to be funded under the 2024-2025 budget. The public participation exercise targets all counties with the government looking to further implementation of its bottom-up economic transformation agenda.
Treasury is calling on members of the public to turn up in large numbers and own the public participation process for the 2024-2025 budgeting. Stakeholders have an opportunity to identify priority areas which shall be incorporated in the final county report to aid in the budget preparation.
The grassroots input is being taken into consideration in accordance with the requirements of the Constitution. Our Constitution requires that the public participation is put into consideration in every decision-making process.
Ngetich, who is spearheading the exercise in Kisumu, Kericho, Siaya and Omabe counties, further asked members of the public to follow the budget-making process, adding that another public participation exercise shall be carried out by the National Assembly before the document is passed.
The government is very serious on public engagement. So serious that every county will be visited by a technical team representing all the 9 sectors, the budget-making sectors.
For the first time, we've seen the national government delocalizing the citizen participation at the county level. Secondly, the multi-sectoral approach in this environment also provides public with confidence that the issues, deliberations being made in Nairobi has their input at hand.
Elio Pondo, Director and Champions of Peace, said involving the grassroots in the budget-making cycle was necessary to ensure that their needs are captured in the document. The move, he said, was a demonstration of national government position to have citizens at the center of decision-making. Edna Murungi for Lunchtime News.
Now let's get sporty. Shabana FC are yet to make mark in the FKF Premier League this season, despite securing a 20 million shilling sponsorship from BankBet. Now Shabana have only won 1 of their 9 matches they have played so far this season, losing 4 and drawing 4 times, with their latest loss coming yesterday against the Giants Gor Mahia. The Gusii-based side sits second from bottom on 7 points only, just 1 point above bottom placed Nzoia Sugar, who have also won just once this season, and a massive 12 points behind leaders Posta Rangers. Shabana's next assignment will be against Bandari FC on Sunday. head over to more news now, where championship of the first edition of the African Football League will be decided on the 11th of this month when the South Africa's Mamelodi Sundown host Wydad Casablanca of Morocco in the second leg of a two-legged final. Now, the first leg will be played in Morocco 6 days before. So the African Football League final between Mamelodi Sundown and Wydad Casablanca will be played on the 5th and the 11th of this month. Sundowns, who travelled to Wydad in the first leg on the 5th, made it to the final with a 1-0 aggregate win over Egyptian's giant Al Ahly in the semi-final. Mamelodi's first leg home victory was enough to book them that spot in the final as they held Al Ahly to a goalless draw in Egypt. Wydad Casablanca secured their place in the final after edging Esperance of Tunisia on penalties following a 1-1 aggregate draw in the semi-final. Wydad and Esperance both won 1-0 at home, and the tie had to be decided from the spot, with Wydad proving better than Esperance in the spot kicks.
The miss couldn't make a save. It's 5 from 5.